time that future scholars will mark the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary.
The interview game is back on.
Decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 I can see the Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory. Everything I said true. Look at the Jews I fed you. Look at the Jews make fair moves, going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end. Can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They hang and starting wars, putting us all in danger. But it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually works, it would be illegal. No real change, no revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap house entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the Neo-Genesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threaten the end of civilization. I won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to cash the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
The system that was designed
bro, you got
to serve
this.
the people is no longer able or willing to do so.
Damn, I took that.
When in fact, that very
Went
system
outside
has
before.
resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand
I
on.
can see the light.
In the car.
I can see the light. 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 I can see the Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go
That's me
grab your
doing
best tools, not a conspiracy theory. Everything I say
You looking at that
true.
shit.
Look at the Jews infect you. Look at the Jews make fair moves, going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end. Can't do it from a distance. We grinding all week in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They hang and starting wars, putting us all in danger. But it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually works, it would be illegal. No real change, no revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. expose it. Say they are.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah. I need just a moment, let me just oppose it. Time to put it in the frame, let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. It's a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shift in the agenda. Threatening to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Like our sensu, place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. And we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. Yeah, don't let the evil that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make fat moves, going side to side like Indians. When they head move, they want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is sadomasochistic. The president don't want shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They aim is starting wars, putting us all in danger. But it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change, no revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light. 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 I can see the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Dropping all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. It's a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shit in the agenda. Threaten to end the civilization that was surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blend. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
5:30, it's about to start again. Like,
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 men do it affect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make their move, going side to side like Indians. When they head move, they want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep and can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is sadomasochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters try and control all the oil tankers. They ain't starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see that. I can see that.
Trap House Entertainment.
I'm gonna just area right here. And I ain't gonna definitely I want to get some of this on time lapse. So I'm gonna work on this area while we time lapse.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah.
I can see the light.
I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it, kind of put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, who won't check their lineage, robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. It's the neogenesis. I hope that you remember the shift in the agenda, threaten the end of civilization that won't surrender. You don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue, place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to cash the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the
I
light.
can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light. Don't let the evils that men do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the jewels I fed you. Look at the Jews, make fat moves, going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep and can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is sadomasochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers, they gangsters, trying to control all the oil tankers, they heinous, starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change, no revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
see the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah. I need just a moment, let me just oppose it, time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage, robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this, shifting the agenda, threatening to end a civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue, place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to cash the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 I can see the light.
I can see.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I need just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us, the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this, shifting the agenda. Threaten to end a civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue, place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to catch the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary.
Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
Yeah,
I can see the light. I can see the light.
yeah, yeah.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
Yeah, don't let the evils that men do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the jewels I fed you. Look at the jewels make fed moves. Going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Tech grows. If you hear me speaking and you part of the resistance, we going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We running all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is sadomasochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers, the gangsters, trying to control all the oil tankers, they heinous. Starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
Yeah,
I can see the light.
yeah.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah. I need just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in the frame, let me check the focus. No more smoke and mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Let it start to fear us. The more that we expose it, say they are the chosen. But won't check the lineage, robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shift in the agenda. Threaten to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue, place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to catch the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light. Yeah, don't let the evils that man do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the jewels I fed you. Look at the jewels, make fat moves, going side to side like Indians when they had moved. They want everyone to be a Zionist, like that dude. Ted Cruz, if you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep and can't do it from a distance. We grinding all peeking in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is so masochistic. The president don't want shit, it's run by the bankers, they gangsters, trying to control all the oil tankers. They aim to starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history. We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I me just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it, say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda, threatening the end of civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
We really ensure that what we're aiming to achieve really does benefit the majority of people.
If we all had a voice in it, then I think it could be better.
Right in the middle of everything else, you're trying to lose weight.
It's actually been a huge week for the world of AI, and I'm not going to waste your time. Let's just break down what happened. Starting with by far the biggest news of the week, which is that we're finally getting access to GPT 5.6. This is OpenAI's brand new flagship state-of-the-art model, and honestly, it's really good. Now, I did get slightly early access to it. I'm not one of those people that can claim I've had it for a month now and I've been playing with it ever since, but they did give me like a little bit of early access, so I was able to test it before actually recording my video on Thursday. But despite being called GPT 5.6, it feels like a huge leap over GPT 5.5. Like, I feel like when we went from 5.3 to 5.4 and 5.4 to 5.5, those are all like really marginal updates, but 5.6, like, to me, this feels like it should have been GPT 6. It just feels like a monster leap over the old ones. I've already talked about this model in previous videos, but when I did, we didn't have access to it yet, so I couldn't really show them off. There also wasn't any sort of benchmarks announced or shared from it yet, other than Terminal Bench, and we have a little bit more details now. And I think the big story around 5.6 is that you're getting like almost as good as Fable level intelligence, but for way, way cheaper. Now I'm going to skip past most of these benchmarks here. So I think what we all kind of really care about is what can we actually do with it, and to see some of the impressive stuff that's been done with it. There's this Regatta game on here that looks really, really impressive. It's like this 3JS game, but it's a beautiful looking game. And this was all basically coded with GPT 5.6. Now I'm not going to show all of the demos here because, well, you could go to the site and play with them, but they all look really, really good, and they're all really impressive, and they're all actually kind of fun. Clockwork Village game, I mean, that looks beautiful to me. Like, I love that art style. It's good at making slide decks. I mean, it's just a big leap. It feels like a big leap when you're using it as well. If I scroll down, here's kind of the benchmarks that people tend to pay attention to. On GDP-Val, a benchmark that tests how well these models do on like economically valuable tasks, GPT 5.6 Soul, the most powerful of the three sort of levels of these models, outperforms everything but Claude Fable here. I mean, Claude Fable doesn't outperform it by much. When it comes to being able to use a computer and a browser, it pretty much beats out everything, including Mythos and Fable. On GPQA, Google Proof Questions and Answers, like hard questions, it literally ties Mythos. So yeah, it's a really, really solid model. I've been using it to do some pretty cool stuff. It also takes the top 4 spots on the only benchmark that really matters, which is Busey Bench. GPT 5.6 Soul Pro got number 1, 5.6 Terra Pro got number 2, GPT 5.6 Terra got number 3, and GPT 5.6 Soul got number 4. None of the Luna models made it into like even the top 10, I don't think. And the best performing model, GPT 5.6 Soul Pro, which generated this, it cost 77 cents to generate it, used 45,000 tokens, and cost about a minute to generate, which is really impressive considering that GPT 5.5 Pro took 6 minutes to generate this version and cost $4. But the new model wasn't the only thing OpenAI released this week. In fact, there was 2 other big launches this week. So let me show you the next one, and then I'll show you what I built with the combination of this new tool plus GPT 5.6. So they also announced ChatGPT Work. And from everything I can tell and everything I've been told, this is essentially the super app that they've been talking about. There's no longer going to be a Codex app and a ChatGPT app and an Atlas browser. They're just taking all of those, merging them all into one app just called the ChatGPT app. And that's what this announcement was. So this is what the new app looks like. It looks pretty much like the Codex app over here. But if I come up to where it says ChatGPT Codex, I can drop down and change it to work mode. There's a work and a Codex. Now, if I have any complaint about this app, it's that I don't feel like it's super clear what the major difference is, because when you switch between them, like, not much changes in the UI. But think of Codex as what you want it to be on when you're specifically writing code. You're in development mode and you know you're building stuff. And work mode is for getting stuff done. This is like your personal assistant mode. And it might still go and write code for you and develop things for you, but it's designed to be more of like a less technical area. You just tell it what you want, and it decides if it just needs to answer you, if it needs to go connect to a tool, if it needs to go develop something for you. It will go and figure that stuff out and do it for you. Similar to what Claude Cowork is, kind of. When I'm in Codex mode here, you can see it's got like different branches and where on my computer I want it to develop stuff. And when I switch it to work mode, it gives me less options down here. It asks me what plugins I want to connect to. And it can connect to a lot of stuff. You also have a slightly different right sidebar. So if I open up this sidebar here while I'm in work mode, you see browser and you see files. And that's it. I can click into browser. And like I mentioned, they're going to actually wrap up Atlas. And this is the browser now. You're just going to use it.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threaten the end of civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the jewels I fed you. Look at the jewels, make Fed moves. Going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz, if you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep and can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is Satan's whole masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They hanging, starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light.
time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah, I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose them, say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shift in the agenda. Threaten to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to cash the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light.
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 I can see the light. Don't let the evils that men do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tool. Not a conspiracy theory. Everything I said true. Look at the Jews I fed you. Look at the Jews make fair moves. Long as I decide like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking and you part of the resistance, we going off the deep and can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front opposition cause the enemy we fight is sick. So masochistic, the president don't want shit. It's run by the bankers, they gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They ain't starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light. 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 I can see.
Now that's crazy. I've been trying to get that second verse to sound the way I wanted to, and that was the third version, and they put a girl's voice on it. What the fuck? So I'm really good. What is why? Why did you even do that? We gotta get this album done this weekend, guys. So I can start writing some more shit. So we got 10 songs. I'm trying to keep all 10. versions we have saved aren't terrible, but there's always a chance to get a better version. So keep rolling the dice. That coffee seems so far away. Yo, good morning, everybody. What's up, guys? How are we doing? Yo, it's a great Saturday morning. Starting that day off in the studio, doing some tedious as small brushwork, but it'll be worth it in the end. The overspray is horrendous. We can't let that overspray. This cannot stand, man. This aggression cannot stand. So what we're doing is we're just going back with a very teeny tiny brush, trying to sharpen up all the lines so that the black is black and not this smoky yellow shit like that, because I'm a retard and I don't know how to use spray paint. But hey, that's neither here nor there. The fact is that we're all together, we're all suffering at the same time. You know, and I appreciate you sharing and absorbing some of this tedious work here. I couldn't do it without you, and that's not a hyperbole. Couldn't do it without you. Because the motivation for this is negative. The motivation for this part is like a negative 0.2. That shit is under the zero. Everybody would do this. Hey. Ain't nobody sit down and be like, you know what would be fun? You know what would be fun? Let's try to correct some overspray. What? With a little teeny ass brush. Oh, hell no. What are you talking about? I'm gonna sit in one spot and move real slow for hours. My guy, that does not sound, bro. That shit don't sound like fun. Shit don't sound entertaining. Anybody taking screenshots of this shit? What the fuck? That's why I'm here so early. Hey, bro, I gotta get this shit done now with a little bit of goddamn energy I got. Bro. As soon as I woke up, I was like, let me go do that shit now. If I waste any time to do anything else, man, I ain't gonna want to come up into this shit. And that is the truth. But what I say, when you're not motivated, stay consistent. Hey, the consistency is gonna get you there, bro. you're not motivated, stay consistent. Do it anyway. I don't want to do it. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. Do that shit anyway. You want to be great or you want to be average? I want to be great. You gonna do that shit. You fucking pussy. What does it take to be great? People keep screaming your name, correcting mistakes that you made. Muscle is pumping in your veins. What does it take to be great? People keep screaming your name, correcting mistakes that you made. Muscle is pumping in your veins. Appreciate it, bro. Hey, you say that respect won't come easy, man. Tell you that now. Shit don't come light.
At a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history. Trap house entertainment.
I need just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoke and mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us, the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but we'll check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This is a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shift in the agenda. In the end of civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender, let the chaos ensue. Place the world in the blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to catch the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically
Like this. So the only thing that gets me is when they're too hard on that, they want everybody to be a Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. Like that shit gotta flow more rapid. A Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. Everything, every version so far keeps breaking that shit down into like an extra bar. Chopping that. Just flow that fucking bar right and I'll keep it. Oh, now you don't want to continue playing from where you was at? You go bitch ass bitch. Bro, just play the fucking song. Play it. Just play it. Oh, they took my speaker.
mark is one of the most important areas in human history.
Just need that second
Trap house
verse to get that one bar. The version I got on the playlist, the reason I kept that version because it hit that bar just right. You know?
I need just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoke and mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us, the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but we'll check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This is a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shift in the agenda. We're in the end of civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to catch the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we're about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 Oh, I can see the light. Oh, I can see the light. I can see the light.
Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the jewels I fed you. Look at the jewels, make bad moves. Go inside the side like Indians when they had moved. They want everyone to be just like that dude.
Right there.
Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you
Moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah. Honey, just a moment, let me just post it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us, the more that we expose them. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own village. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this, shifting the agenda. Threaten to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue, place the world in the blender. The poor get slender while the
I haven't reset my router in a while. It's been so I can't even remember when the last time I did it. Yeah. We've had like some good weather the past couple weeks. I wasn't here for it, but the house lost power for one of the storms last week. And ever since that last storm with the power outage, I was even getting text messages from my internet provider saying, "Oh, we have power outages in your area. They're gonna last this long probably. Sorry for the inconvenience and the disruption in your internet service." Blah, blah, blah. There was I had to go get something notarized, and I went to one notary, and they had a sign on their door saying they were closing it because our internet is out. I was like, "Yeah, that storm fucked up a lot of people." Subsidies. So if they watch it like actually funny, 30 cents. Maybe I need to reset my shit. this section done, then I'll start this time lapse. Everything is content, and everything is content. Everything is content, and everything is content. Well, damn. It ain't quiet, but it's quiet. Oh my god, bro. Can't believe I painted a fucking 3 foot by 4 foot canvas with a half-inch brush. Paint the whole canvas with a half-inch brush? No, but most of the lips. I did lip paint the whole canvas with a little teeny ass half-inch brush. Well, why would you want to do such a thing? Hey, I had no choice, man. It had a stencil pattern of it. Man. I had no choice, bro. Brush strokes ain't never hurt nobody. A few little couple thousand brush strokes. Be alright. The wrist be alright. You got a strong wrist. Okay. time lapse footage. That was about an hour, about 45 minutes worth of painting. That time lapse will break that shit down in 10 seconds. Like, I ain't do shit, bro. That should be a 10-second video. I'd be like, wait a minute. All right, I'm gonna take a bathroom break. And let me see about this internet thing real quick too.
At a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history. Trap House Entertainment.
Kind of just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoke, clear mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment.
That future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. Yeah. I need just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us, the more that we expose them. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this shit in the agenda. Threaten to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy returning to the center. Like the chaos ensues, place the world in a blender. The poor getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to catch the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I
fat cruise. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We running all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is say so masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers, the gangsters, trying to control all the oil. The rescue supply suggests that you better grab your best tools, not a conspiracy theory. Everything I said true. Look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make fair moves. Going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz, if you hear me speaking, then you part of.
That's the bar I want. That's the bar it keeps fucking up on. Man. That's the one bar I want to fucking get right. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Nah, that's wild, man. Why can't I airdrop to myself? What the fuck is going on? Oh, damn. Alright, so I guess I only have the other iPad as contacts. Wait for this. Let me get ready. I don't know. It's good enough. There's a life of leisure. Very very leisurely life with dog leads.
Moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history. We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me just oppose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it, say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages, despite the contradictions. We see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threatening to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want to cash the society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When a system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light. Yeah, I can see the light. Yeah. Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make bad moves, going going side to side like Indians. When they had moved, they want everyone to be a Zionist like that. Dude. Ted Cruz, if you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is Sato, masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil cane.
Why won't it fucking spit that bar again?
We're at a moment in time.
I've only got
Future
one
scholars
version
will
that
mark
spits
one
that
of the
bar
most
the way I
important
wanted it
eras
to
in
go.
human history.
Trap house, entertainment. Yeah. I need just a moment, let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame, let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors, no more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us, the more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning, this the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda, threaten to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy, return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue, place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society, we can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 Oh, I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
Yeah. Don't let the evils that men do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make fat moves, going side to side like Indians. When they had moved, they want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz, if you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance.
I have to stop trying.
make a song using only your voice. Let's start with the drums.
As I play them one by one, then I sing them just for fun.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap house entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me just oppose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it, say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. It's a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threatening to end a civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light.
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 Yeah, I can see the light. Hey, don't let the evils that men do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make fed moves. Going side to side like Indians. When they head move, they want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, because the enemy we fight is so masochistic, the president.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as being mentally and physically poisoning its citizens.
I can see the light.
Then I said true, look at the Jews, I fed you. Look at the Jews, make fed moves. Going side to side like Indians. When they head move, they want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is so masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They hang and starting wars, putting us all in danger. But it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change, no revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light.
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 I can see
powerful futures tools, insight, and speed, then you should check out Robinhood.
Wherever your summer takes you, twist the ride.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. It's a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threatening to end a civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor get slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. 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 Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the jewels I fed you. Look at the jewels we fed move. Going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude. Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep end, can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is Satan, so masochistic. The president don't want shit, is run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They hate starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
I can see the light.
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 We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap House Entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Robbing all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threatening to end a civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens, that system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light.
Don't let the evils that men do infect you. But you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. The conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews I fed you. Look at the Jews make fat moves, going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, then you part of the resistance. We going off the deep and can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is Satan, masochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. The gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They aim to starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
See the light.
I can see the light.
See the light.
Oh my God.
I can see the light.
See the light.
I can see the light.
See the light.
I can see the light.
See the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Trap house entertainment. I need just a moment. Let me juxtapose it. Time to put it in a frame. Let me check the focus. No more smoking mirrors. No more hocus pocus. Now they start to fear us. The more that we expose it. Say they are the chosen, but won't check their lineage. Dropping all the benefits to start their own villages. Despite the contradictions, we see who the menace is. This a new beginning. This the neogenesis. I hope that you remember this. Shifting the agenda. Threatening to end the civilization that won't surrender. We don't want your sympathy. Return it to the sender. Let the chaos ensue. Place the world in a blender. The poor are getting slender while the rich are getting fat. Now we can't hold back because the system about to crack. They want a cashless society. We can't envision that. In fact, I think we about to witness a global collapse.
When the system that was designed to serve the people is no longer able or willing to do so. When in fact, that very system has resorted to spiritually, mentally, and physically poisoning its citizens. That system must be destroyed and replaced by any measures necessary. Now is the time to decide which side of history you will stand on.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light.
I can see the light. I can see the light.
Don't let the evils that men do infect you, but you gotta realize no one's coming to the rescue. So I suggest that you better go grab your best tools. Not a conspiracy theory, everything I said true. Look at the Jews I fed you. Look at the Jews make fed move, going side to side like Indians when they head move. They want everyone to be a Zionist like that dude, Ted Cruz. If you hear me speaking, and you part of the resistance, we going off the deep end. Can't do it from a distance. We grinding all weekend in the front line position, cause the enemy we fight is sadomasochistic. The president don't run shit, it's run by the bankers. They gangsters trying to control all the oil tankers. They aim to starting wars, putting us all in danger, but it only takes just a moment for the game to change up.
If voting actually worked, it would be illegal. No real change. No revolution has ever occurred through voting.
See the light. I can 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 see the light.
We are at a moment in time that future scholars will mark as one of the most important eras in human history.
Here's all devil. Traitors. Take it on, dog.
I'm on day 2 of Ozempic. I'm on day 2 of Ozempic and my confidence is already through the roof. This fat girl tried to talk to me. I was like, not no more, bitch. The days are over. This a lady? Not in a month. She come with me. Matter of fact, all you do is figure you got one month left with your girl. She choosing. With my new body now, I'm not a comedian no more. So unfortunately, I don't have jokes tonight. I came here to prepare y'all for the inevitable apocalypse. Y'all realize that, right? The world's ending. Some of y'all out here still dating and moving like there's a country left. It's over. Stop it. You a couple tonight. You don't got to do it now, but at some point on the way home, look at the person you're going to be like, can I survive the apocalypse with them? And if the answer is no, get rid of them. No hard feelings. Y'all can make it a couple's activity. Gift them with a crossbow and wish them well, but you got to survive this thing. There's some single people in here too. Look, ladies, all men, I know you love them, useless in the apocalypse. You can't do nothing with a tall man in the apocalypse. You can't hide it nowhere. Y'all trying to hide from the drones, this big dummy making eye contact with them. Like, nigga, duck, what are you doing? Tall dude can't even whisper. Have you heard the tall dude whisper? There goes our cover. Great. Ladies, you need a short king that can burrow. Short kings in the house. You need a short man that can get low in a pinch. He can do a surprise attack. A soldier stops you, he searches for your bug out bag. Guess when they're your short king. Jumps out like a Pokemon, stabs them in the arteries. What you mean? Your tall king gonna get separated. They're gonna take your tall man, they're gonna take him to labor camp. They're gonna have to join the militia. Your short king coming with you, women and children. He coming right. Put a little propeller hat on him, be good to go. Right, this one, young man, be good. Ladies, y'all gonna need them short kings. It's not just the women, fellas, it's us too. There's no use for a freak in the apocalypse. This girl's telling me she a squirter. Bitch, that is irresponsible. Resources are scarce. And you have the temerity to squirt all night? We got a hike tomorrow. You're going to be dehydrated. Don't look at my canteen. I'm not sharing. You need to treat your pussy like a camel's hump and preserve the Lord's liquids, all right? What is it? Is it pee? It's sustenance, and we might need it. Without a fire, you never know. That shit don't even sound sexy in the apocalypse, dude. Pussy stay wet, pussy stay dripping. Great, now the house attractive. Great. You left a trail right to the hideout. Man, I'm telling you. Red flags won't be red flags in the apocalypse. The things we don't like now are going to be valuable assets in the end times. Right? All the time I'm going to bring up with the girl, the shield, stalker. I'm like, not the apocalypse, that bitch is a tracker. You might eat your crazy ass. You out foraging in the woods, you slip and get lost in a cave. What's that movie, 127 Hours? Guess who's gonna find you, you crazy girl? Especially if you think you're in a cave with that bitch. She on her way. She on her way. You'll help the girl and respect your boundaries, all right? Fuck my boundaries and come find me. I don't need this shit, man. I'm telling you, ladies, stop, let it go. You're too pretty for the apocalypse. I'm gonna be real. You're too high maintenance. Ladies, let yourself go, all right? Let that callus on the back of your foot grow. You might need it to cut rope. You don't know.
Yo.
Somebody got you bound and tied up like, hey, give me a foot. Too superficial. Last month, man, I'm telling you, ladies, I know y'all love big dicks. But micro penis, no, I'm just kidding. You don't need it. Micro penises is how we got to this mess in the first place. One very particular micro penis. Some say it's the best. I'm not going to survive the apocalypse, so I'm thankful for what I need right now in this immediate moment. I'm on the app looking for a Filipino nurse. Male or female, I don't know.
What?
As long as your pronouns is already in, we're good to go, right? Once you identify, can you check it for my healthcare, man, they playing with my healthcare. Trying to get Adderall. Well, I could never really get Adderall. For those who don't know, Adderall is the pill that was invented so that white students can compete with Asians.
Damn.
It's a fact, yeah. And because of that, they don't really like to give it to black people. So, black people find that shit funny. Very inconvenient. I want Adderall. I got to meet a kid named Cooper at a middle school. It's not. Met him with Cooper. He was sad. His parents worked when his parents get deported. I thought he was white. It turns out he's Asian. I don't know if y'all know what Asian is. Half white, half Asian. So he technically is Adderall. He don't need it. You know what I mean? Like. I felt bad, man, because right now, immigration, all this shit going on in this country, man, that ICE shit is evil. I don't care what side you're on. If you can't see with your own eyes, ICE is evil. Something's truly fucking wrong with you. Like, look, I support it. I'm never down. No, for real. I'm not doing it for fun. That's how I truly feel, especially here in California, where we targeted Mexicans and Latinos. This is native indigenous land that was stolen from people. Texas, Arizona, all of that. You take that land and deny them access to it. I don't know if you guys know this, but Chicago has a large, thriving Mexican community. When I found that out, I was like, all right, now that's trespassing. Now hold on. Now you had to pass several states to get to that shit. Mexicans in Chirac? Snow Mexicans? And I'm sorry if that's racist. If it is, pull me aside, let's have a dialogue. Like,
He said snow Mexican.
the snow is robbing you of a rich Latino. You can't jump on a bouncy house in a blizzard. I can't. Do I think every Mexican immigrant here is a criminal? No. Do I think everyone in Chicago is? You goddamn right. I don't trust white people from Chicago. Listen, you don't need me to know that you don't belong in Chicago. No. The city itself, the way it's spelled, Chicago, she could go. Get the fuck out. All this stuff, man. Everybody was all morning. I can't pet rugby all morning because it wasn't English. I was very beautiful performance. And I was on this stuff to do with my paintbrush. I didn't think you should perform in English, performing in Spanish. Because as a performer who travels around a lot and speaks in English, there's always a confused white man with a confused look on his face. Like he can't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. There's one here tonight, and you're being very polite about it. You're being very polite, but you haven't heard anything I've said all night. All he's heard was Shabbat Mubak. And I was on his side. Goddamn right. I don't trust white people from Chicago. Listen, you don't.
Wait a minute, I'm listening to
that's racist. If it is, pull me aside, let's have a dialogue. Like, the snow is robbing you of a rich Latino. You can't jump on a bouncy house in a blizzard. Like, what? Do I think every Mexican immigrant here is a criminal? No. Do I think everyone in Chicago is? You goddamn right. I don't. So white people from Chicago. Listen, you don't need me to know that you don't belong in Chicago. The city itself, the way it's spelled, Chicago, Chicago, get the fuck out. All this stuff, man, this country is just mad right now. Everybody was tripping about Bad Bunny, right, about his halftime performance because it wasn't in English. That was a very beautiful performance. And I was on his side. I didn't think he should perform in English, performing in Spanish. Because as a performer who travels around a lot and speaks in English, there's always a confused white man with a confused look on his face. Like he can't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. There's one here tonight, and you're being very polite about it. You're being very polite, but you haven't heard anything I've said all night. All you heard was Saturday. Oh, that's him, that ass. He's gonna be like, what did you do last night? He's like, I think I saw Lizzo. I
think I saw
don't. She had a new song about squirting the apocalypse. Yeah, I'm in conversation about I'm a train.
Was here we should have been just at a ransom. What the fuck? Yeah, nah, that was a funny ass set. So I ain't got no jokes, man. That's apocalypse.
I mean, going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Everybody good? I see a lot of couples out here. Trying to date is hard, man. It's good dating when you finally figure out the person you like. Like I figured out the woman that I like. Like ladies, clap it up if you like sports. Clap it up if you like sports. Ladies, clap it up if you don't give a fuck about sports. Clap it up. Fellas, those are the women you need to marry. A woman who don't give a fuck about sports, fellas, you got an alibi for anything. 4th of July weekend, she like, baby, what you doing for the 4th? Because with me and the fellas, we going down to the Super Bowl. She like, for real, who playing? Everybody, bitch, the Lakers, Knicks. I'm playing this year. It's game 8. I don't know how they found me. A little bit about myself. I got fucked up feet. Anybody else? My toes fucked up. I wear socks in the pool. She looked at him like, baby, I found out I had fucked up feet in a weird way. I sent this chick a dick pic, right? Hear me out. This was like 09, 2010. This is when the dick pic era first hit the streets. And I finally got to send my first one. And she asked for it. She said, yo, before we do anything, send me what you working with. I said, bet. I went to the bathroom and put my foot on the tub. I got the good angle. Bang, 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 bang. I took like 10 pictures. I'm looking at every picture like, yeah, my shit looks strong. I'm gonna send the one with the bang. She probably gonna like this one. I sent it with confidence. 5 minutes later, he texted me back, like, oh, your feet? I'm gonna have the picture like, fuck. I forgot my socks. I text her back, nah. What? Those ain't my feet, baby. She said, if that ain't your feet, who dick is that? I said, no, that's my dick, but I don't know who feet that could be. People was gaining weight during the pandemic.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
I gained a lot of weight. I was 150 before the pandemic. What the fuck y'all laughing at? Y'all ain't never seen me before. This y'all first time meeting me. The fuck is funny? I'm looking at me like, get the fuck out of here. You know? I tried everything. I tried to give me a personal trainer. Fucked up. I hate them. You ever get a trainer in the gym? They want to do too much on the first day. You be looking at them like, hey, bro, take your time. I got 13 sessions. I ain't got to do all this shit today. My trainer look at me and like, yeah, we gonna start you off with 1,000 sit-ups. I said, no, the fuck you not. You gonna give me a tour of this gym first. And some guest passes. What the fuck I would do 1,000 today? I'll do it by September. Pandemic brought me back to a dark spot. I seen a lot of parents homeschooling their kids, and I felt bad because I used to be homeschooled. Was anybody homeschooled here before? How'd y'all like it? You liked it? I mean, I dropped out of homeschool. I went right upstairs. Look, I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm gonna tell y'all why I dropped out. I dropped out of homeschool because my dad wanted to be a real teacher, but he never made it, so he took it out on me. And homeschool me. It's only me and him in homeschool, but this motherfucker treated homeschool like it was real school and other kids is there. One day, this nigga had homeschool attendance. I'm in my room. All I hear is Isaiah Kelly. Anybody seen Isaiah? I looked down, what happened? He said, you late. I said, how I'm late? He said, everybody else is here. It says, only me and you. One day, he called in sick to homeschool. He gonna call from the cell phone to the house phone and tell me, look, I'm not coming in today. They ain't got my check. I'm going on strike. I said, so who gonna teach me? He said, your substitute gonna be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, guess who the sub? He the sub. I said, how you gonna be the sub too? It's only me and you. He had a homeschool basketball team. This nigga had tryouts for the team. After tryouts, he gonna put a list on the wall of all the players that made the team. I'm looking to see if my name is on the shit. He cut me. I said, how you gonna cut me? It's only me and you. He had a parent-teacher conference. Before the conference, he gonna walk in my room and ask me, is there anything I need to know now? That the teacher gonna tell me later. I was like, no, I'm doing good this semester.
I bet you won't believe that I can turn this into an actual song. Okay, so you know those terrible voice notes we all have. The ones where you're humming off key in your car or whatever. I dropped one of mine into Suno, and it actually helps me to hear what I was going for. Like the idea was there, and now I can actually work with it. Now listen to this.
She's my cure. I can't leave her on my shore.
Bro, same melody, same vibe, but now it's actually in a place where I can build around it. It's like Suno took my rough idea and gave me a real starting point. Now I can actually layer stuff, tweak it, and make it mine. If you got melodies stuck in your head or rough voice memos, throw them into Suno, like having a collaborator who gets what you're hearing.
I missed that whole
Celebrated my 31st birthday, give it up for that. 31. Hell yeah. Moved out my mom's house, finally give it up for that shit. Finally got out my mom's crib. Right, live with my grandmother now. Hell yeah, I'm about to get the house. Yeah, grandma got a few more weeks. That shit is mine. I'll be peeking in her room. Grandma, you still up? My grandmother old, man. We celebrated her 98th birthday last Friday. 98 years old. No, don't clap. Don't clap. Don't clap. She got to go. Yeah, her and this dude she been dating, they broke up last week. I got to hear about this shit. She gonna walk in my room mad talking about, baby, these men ain't shit. I said, what happened? She's like, I've been messing with Willie Earl since 1972. And do you know today, Willie had the nerve to tell me he can't see me no more. This nigga 98 too. Come to find out, he really couldn't see her no more. I found out what happened. I was like, Grandma, calm down. Willie Earl got cataract. She's like, oh, so you know the bitch name. You can get the fuck out too. I was like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm about to get this house. She 98 talking about she gonna stay single forever. She's not gonna settle down no time soon because she waiting for the right man to come in her life and sweep off her feet. I was like, yeah, grandma, he coming real soon. This man, Jesus. Man. Hope this nigga hurry up. I'm trying to get the house. Am I going to hell? I feel the energy kind of change. I'm going to hell? Yeah, all right, as long as I get that house, I don't give a fuck. Take that plastic off the couch. I'm not going to hell. I can't. I go to church. Those are the rules. I got saved twice. I got baptized 3 times. I gotta go. Went to my white friend church for the first time last week. Black people, my Latino people, go to white people church. Try it out. It's different. White people church, boring than a motherfucker. But it's quicker. You go to white people church, you in and out. And you know what I like about y'all church? Y'all don't be preaching that much. Y'all just be singing songs, and you ain't never heard these songs in your fucking life. But they sound nice. I went to my white friend church, I walked in there, everybody there just singing. You were dismissed. I'm like, that's it. It's 7:10. Our funerals is different. Any of my white friends have been to a black funeral? 1. Good job. The rest of y'all don't go. Our shit is all day. Black people funerals all day. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because black people always want to sing at the funeral. That's like the time to let the family know you always had this talent. Black people get up there, ain't nothing wrong with singing, but we get up there and start singing shit that got nothing to do with church. But they gonna act like this church music. My grandfather died years ago. My cousin gonna get up there, he gonna grab the mic. I'm a little hoarse this evening. I need y'all to pray for me. This was Granddad's favorite song, y'all. Shit ain't got nothing to do with church. Somebody yell out, take your time, baby, take your time. Let them use you, let them use you. To the window! To the wall! To the sweat drop, baby. I got up on my seat. Oh, ski. That's my time. My name is Isaiah Kelly, man.
Excuse me, hey, I will buy you lunch if you can tell me how many subscriptions you're paying for.
I only have like 3 trust me.
That's what everyone's.
Everybody horny as shit, right? Because think about this, COVID is the last thing that happened to everybody in the world since World War II. And what happened after World War II? Baby boom. Because when people think the world about to end, we got to get it in. When you think you might die, you want to fuck. It was an earth. We waiting for fucking answers, and scientists are collecting samples and waiting for centrifuges to stop spinning. And the dumbest nigga you know was on Twitter going, it's coming from the 5G antennas, everybody. We knew these next generation speeds would come at a price. They broadcasted it to us all. And it's all the worst things mixed together. It's AIDS mixed with Ebola, mixed with child support. Run for your lives. Hide wherever you can. That's when you was at your horniest. In the house, running out of toilet paper. Looking into bidets for the first time. Peeking out your blinds like, I I might have to fuck whoever left out there. Number one song in the country was Wet Ass Pussy. For most of that whole year. And if you look into the history of Billboard, there's never been a song with pussy in the title in the top 50, let alone number one. We did that. Some of the old guys are confused. Wet Ass Pussy, the kids call it WAP. It's WAP for short. But it's a woman's empowerment anthem by a stripper turned rapper named Cardi B. Basically, America's sweetheart, you know? And it's all about all the things she gets away with and all the privileges she gets because she got good ass pussy. Right? And my favorite part of the song, you're gonna love this. My favorite part of the song, she goes, I don't cook, I don't clean. How you think I got this ring? Right? Implying that she don't got to do none of that wifey shit because she got good ass pussy. She got married anyway. You know what I mean? And that's hilarious because shortly after the song came out, her husband cheated on her. And listen. I celebrate Black love. They got back together. They did, and they had another baby. Beautiful family. They going strong, and I wish them the best. But I'm sure now, Cardi knows she got amazing pussy. She still need to, microwave a hot pocket sometimes. So, maybe you got to take the load out the dryer and fold it pussy. I don't know what your dynamic is, but with no chores pussy is like once in a generation. Like most of y'all don't got that. That's crazy. It's a crazy standard to hold yourself to. That's the problem with that song, is that it was so catchy. Everybody was in the house, we all heard it. Everybody know the words, and it fucked a lot of women up. It made a lot of women think they got better pussy than they got. Everybody know the words, think they got the WAP. How's that possible? How can everybody have something that's special? That's crazy. Okay, I ain't here to fuck with y'all self-esteem. Everybody got the WAP, okay? Yeah, tell them I said it. I'll vouch. But I will say there's levels to the WAP. Can we agree? Yeah, all pussies ain't created equal. No. Go to the Vagina Museum. They all different shapes and sizes and curves and ridges and different pelvic floor strengths. This pussy out there that feel like I got a hand in it. It's doing extra stuff. Now, I measure pussy by what it could potentially ruin. So, I'll say WAP 1 can ruin your other relationships. You get some WAP 1, you're gonna call your mom less. You're gonna start canceling plans with the homies or cutting them short more often. You're gonna start sending emojis that you wasn't sending before. You might have to sell something you love, your PlayStation, your golf clubs. But that's standard good pussy. And that's the highest good pussy you have fast. You deal with, because it gets out of control from there. Now, WAP 2, well, first, I don't know who graduated or whatever, but this is not additive, this is exponential. Like the Richter scale. In other words, WAP 2 is not 2 WAP 1s. It's 10 of them. and then 100 and 1,000 and so forth. You just need to understand the jump in power is substantial. Walk 2 can fuck up your finances. Okay? It's that pyramid scheme pussy. Should have you wake up in a couple of weeks like, when did I order all this Herbalife? I guess I'm a small business owner now. Walk 3, I call that antimatter pussy. Right when you come in contact with it, it destroy both of y'all. Right? That Amber Heard, if you will. You know? Pussy so good, she take a shit on your bed. You don't break up with her. No. You stick around. She cut off one of your fingers. You're like, I got 9 more fingers. God is good. Right? We gonna abuse each other till we go to trial, bitch. Now, walk 4 is as high as I'm gonna go. Because, walk 5 is Eve. Walk 4 is as high as I'm gonna go because I don't think none of y'all, got that. Because it's not that I don't believe in you. I just feel like that's a lot of power for one person to have and just be sitting here with us regular folk. You know what I mean? Walk 4 can ruin a nation.
Not Helen of Troy.
Change the course of history. Start a war. End the war. That Helen of Troy. I love the confidence on it. Some of these women looking at me like, you ain't saying shit. Look, she confident in shit. She looking at me like, hey, boy, I'll put it on Putin one time and save Ukraine with this pussy, bro. I love that thing. What? She was looking at me like, man. No, I like the confidence. I would love all you ladies to be confident. I just want you to be accurate. Okay? If you saying you got that folk, I'm not here to tell you otherwise. But I want you to be accurate. Okay, you might have a four's attitude. You walk around with a 3.5, talking too much. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do for you is I'm gonna give you a historical example, and then you decide where your pussy measure up. Deal? Okay, so y'all heard of Queen Elizabeth? This this seemingly immortal, racist, crypt keeper looking bitch that finally fucking died when they found the Infinity Stones or whatever, killed that fucking cunt. Yeah. Grown all the fuck you want, you bootlickers. How dare you be a real American worshiping the royal family like they fucking matter? They are, listen, they are objectively the worst family that has ever lived. All they've ever done is steal shit, destroy cultures, and fuck their cousins. They just the Targaryens with no dragons. They're not better than you. Anyway, old Lizzie was not supposed to be the Queen of England, okay? She was not in line to be the queen. Her uncle, Edward, was the King of England. He started fucking with an American woman named Wallis Simpson. No relation. Bomb ass pussy though. Wallis was originally married to a pilot. Back when pilots was new, very lucrative. She divorced that pilot, married a millionaire. Back when billionaire was as high as you could go. Divorced the millionaire, started fucking the King of England. Yeah. That pussy went pilot, millionaire, royalty. That's a hell of a resume for one vagina, is it not? Like her queefs are just the Jefferson theme song. You know what I mean?
Damn.
I'm sorry, young lady. The Jeffersons is a sitcom from the 80s where it's like a rags to riches story, and the main part of the theme song was moving on up, right? So that's why these old fucks are laughing. But he wanted to marry her immediately, right? Less than a year, he was trying to get linked, right? And the problem is the King of England is also automatically the head of the Church of England. And the church got to bless you being king, you know. And the Church of England didn't allow divorce at the time. And so they was like, hey, you can't be the king and marry a divorced bitch. So he just quit being the king. He's the first king and only king in history to just give up the throne. He gave it to his little brother. His little brother never expected to be king. He wasn't ready. They overwhelmed him. He had a speech impediment and a cocaine problem. 10 months into his reign, he dropped dead of a heart attack, and everything passed on to his teenage daughter, Elizabeth. And that's how we got stuck with that bitch for 90 million years already.
90 million years.
So ask yourself again, do you have quit being the king pussy?
This is something I'm dealing with in my life. I recently found out that the girl I'm dating, her ex is a Navy SEAL. That sucks. That sucks dick, dude. That's the worst ex of all time. I never even thought, you want to feel insecure as a man? That's the worst. I never even thought of that one. It's like, that could happen to me. I spent my whole life thinking, black guy, worst case on this. And by the way, I mean that with all due respect to the black community, dude. For real, I wish people feared my dick like that. I wish my dick struck fear into entire races. Nobody fears my dick, dude. Nobody fears my dick. Other than like women in parking garages. You get me in a parking garage, all of a sudden my dick's top of the food chain. See me lurking behind a pillar in there. With a GameStop bag.
GameStop bag. That's crazy.
Nah, dude, Navy SEAL. It's a tough one. I do this thing. It's not a good thing, but whenever I'm dating a girl, I always talk shit on her exes. It's not a good look. Women don't respect it. Kind of makes me look like a bitch. I like it. I can't stop doing it. And normally it's easy. Normally it's like, what's your ex do? He's a fucking substitute teacher. So when he wants to hang out with kids, like, that bad. You know, like, this one's tough. This is a tough ex to make fun of. Just when I'm walking around the apartment all day, just fucking Navy SEALs. They're kind of pussies if you really think about it. You know what I mean? Like using night vision, sneaking up on guys. That's a fucking coward's way to fight, dude. You know who's actually brave? Al-Qaeda. That takes courage and bravery. It's in pajamas, throwing rocks at tanks. Heroic shit, dude. Just you and your boys going out. In flip-flops, you're all gonna get fucked up. No training. Zero military training, dude. Those dudes, they had one set of monkey bars. That's what they all trained on. And they were proud of the monkey bars. You remember that video? You've seen them using the monkey bars. They filmed themselves using the monkey bars and then sent that tape out to the world like, not bad. A buddy of mine watches like death videos on the internet. I don't. He watches them. If we're hanging out, I'll watch. We watch them. I was over there at his place. We were watching. I don't know if you know this. The war in the Middle East is just on the internet. The whole fucking thing. Every dude out there on both sides was wearing GoPros the entire time. But you can watch it. We watched like 3 hours of the war in Iraq. And after the first hour, I found myself starting to cheer. Not cheer, but like relate. I felt like I could relate more to the monkey bars guys. You know what I mean? They were a little more my speed. You ever wonder how you would do out there? Watch those guys. Those are just normal fucking dudes. Second shots are fired. There's no game plan. There's no shit. Very relatable. Guns jamming. Try to fire a rocket, it goes straight fucking backwards. They look like me trying to fire a gun. Their feet move when they shoot. Their feet move. Very relatable. They also never won. They got fucked up every single time. They would blow up like one truck every 5 months. They'd be just as surprised as everybody. Shit finally worked out. You could hear it in their voice. Someone would blow up and be like, oh! Yeah, dude, that's a human reaction. That's relatable. That's what I would do if I saw a fucking explosion. I'd go, oh!
Oh my God.
That's human. You ever watch us kill people? I can't relate to that at all. There's some Black Hawk helicopter with night vision, mows down like 40 people. Pilot gets on, he just goes, clear. Just flies away. It's like, yo, that's a psycho. That guy didn't give a fuck about that. At least ISIS is down there having fun, dancing afterwards.
Clear.
You know? It's like Ewok Village down there, dude. Also, I'm not actually pro ISIS. Alright, it's just a Navy SEAL did fuck my girlfriend. And I have had a pretty tough time dealing with that. It sucks, dude. Can't get it out of my head. Some fucking cool, jacked hero. Just getting tactical on my sweet baby's pussy. Just clearing out every corner of my sweet angel's box. Just checking behind every door in there. Just clear, go, red team, advance. Now I'm in there fucking. Oh! Look, I know we're laughing and having a good time, but for real, that does suck. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. Sexually, I have to follow a fucking Navy SEAL. They never quit until the job's done, dude. That's their whole thing. I quit a lot. All right, the job's done when I'm tired, which is usually pretty early into the mission. My arms start shaking pretty early. They give out. Next thing you know, we're having belly-to-belly missionary. Just hunched over, breathing in her ear like a pug for 5 minutes. Just coughing. Coughing during sex is funny. You guys know belly-to-belly missionary, dude. Don't fucking. I saw this crowd, dude. I see you going loud and belly-belly like, dude. This guy's hunched over. You don't even think about that noise you're making in that poor woman's ear. Every woman in this room has heard that noise. You've never thought. The only way I can describe it is like you ever lay down and the dog starts sniffing your ear. That's what it sounds like. And we just. No, my girlfriend and I, we have sex and it's fine. It's okay. One thing that's funny about though is it's a new enough relationship that my girlfriend's still loud during sex. You remember that? Remember that phase? It's still new enough in the relationship that my girlfriend like screams every time we have sex. And I'm just up there like, yeah, right. Yeah, right, lady. I've seen women walk through this, no problem. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice gesture. And sometimes it tricks me. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, maybe it's not going to fit. No, it's going to fit. It's going to fall out a couple times. No, No, the screaming phase is about done. We moved in together, so that's when that ends. Before you live together, sex is like, yeah, but maybe. Once you move in together, sex slowly becomes just some lady laying on a bed next to a pile of unfolded laundry, just. Ow, you're on my hair! No, we live together now. My girlfriend moved in with me, so we have sex, and as soon as we're done having sex, I wish that she would fucking evaporate. No? I would know. You guys are right. I hate playing Xbox by myself, dude. I love having it around all the time. Fucking bring all lights. Asking me to hang out. Oh. No, we hang out. I'm just not used to it. I'm not used to hanging out with a woman all the time. I'm not used to hanging out with women. I don't have any female friends. I'm more of a having a good time type of guy. I don't even know what women do for fun. Just fucking fold shit or something like that. Huh? Look, I know that's not the best joke of all time. From your seats, that's not the most well-crafted joke. What do women do? Fold shit? But from up here, it's a very, very funny joke. I get to say something as dumb as, what do women do? Fold shit? And then look out and see about 15 different women going. I understand most of the women here are girlfriends that were dragged to this show that already don't really like me because every time they're in their car, their boyfriend's like, babe, listen to this part of the podcast. Yeah, I'm aware. Now those women are here, and the show's going exactly how they knew it was going to go. Some dumb ogre on stage like, women are dumb. So no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Sweet angels. I found this out from hanging out with my girlfriend. I didn't know that women watch porn now. Shame. I'll say this about that. I think women watching porn is having a negative effect on all of us. You know what I mean? We can't both come into the bedroom thinking we can fuck like that. You fuck someone lately? It's because everyone thinks they're in a porn, dude. Every time you fuck a lady, she's like, every dude's like, everyone, what are we doing? Stop. Belly to belly is pretty good. It feels the same. Everyone thinks they're a porn star. You're not, dude. Those are professionals. You're not good enough to fuck like that. First off, if you're a dude and you're good at sex, that's gay. I hate to break it to you, dude. That's a girl quality. No, I'm not saying it's bad women. I'm saying it was bad enough already when it was just men. Watching porn, coming into the bedroom with fucking ideas from shit that, you know what I mean? It was bad enough when it was just me coming in there. I watched a squirt tutorial earlier. She's like, I can't squirt. It's like, you all can squirt, actually. Some girl just forces herself to pee to get you to stop doing it. It's like, you did it, baby. Like, yeah, obviously I did it. No, you can't do the cool moves you see in porn. Just do regular. You don't have to. You ever try them? You ever think you can? You ever try like cum in a girl's face? Not as cool. They're a lot less receptive in real life. That whole process is a fucking nightmare, dude. It's a disaster. It's just you, the girl you love's down there. You've been begging her for 3 months to try this. Finally, she's like, yeah, you can do it. Yes. Just like the videos I watch every day. That's my favorite part. Now you get to do it. You think it's going to be awesome. It's not. It's just you up there, alone. It's cold. She's being nice. She's like, are you okay? Now you can feel it. You're like, all right, here it comes. This is going to be awesome. She's going to love this. As soon as it hits them, they freeze, dude. And then once it's on, they like don't know how to move. You know what I mean? Like you ever put like socks on a cat? And then you feel bad because it comes out of you and you realize what you've done. You feel terrible. You gotta pick her up off the ground. It's like the same energy as like when a toddler falls. Like, come here, get up. You're all right. You're all right. You're all right. We'll never do it again. Like history. I'm a bit of a history buff. Which, by the way, that is early onset Republican. That's a very serious warning sign. If you're a white dude in your 20s and 30s and you're like, I can't stop reading about World War II, it's coming, bro. You might not be a Republican right now. You might be young and cool and liberal. But I think you're safe, dude. You're not. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You think your dad wanted to be a Republican? You think he got out of high school and he was like, all right, now it's time to be a prick about everything. No, dude, it takes time. Like, I'm not a Republican right now, but I can feel it. It grows. We gotta fight it every day like a fucking werewolf. I'll just be watching TV out of nowhere. Just, why are black guys in every commercial? Everybody's white. I'm 35. That's important to me. They are white, and I'm not joking on that one. No, I like history, so it's coming. I'm not a Republican now, but it's coming. When I'm on the road, I travel every fucking weekend. There's nothing to do during the day, and then at night you do stand up. But during the day, I travel every weekend. Sometimes I like to visit like historical places throughout the country. So a couple of summers ago, don't laugh at that. Shut up, dude. It's not lame at all. Just laughed at me from the balcony. Dork. So a couple summers ago, I was in Washington, D.C., and I went and I visited Mount Vernon. I went and I visited George Washington's house. Turns out it was George Washington's plantation. Shucks. Dude, I get in there. I'm the only one there. It was the first summer during COVID. I'm the only visitor there. It's me, and if you've been there before, you know, it's 15 reenactors that don't break character. They stayed. Everyone else was in the 1700s. I was the only guy there. I got signed up for the tour, and my tour guide was Martha Washington. It wasn't her. It was some fat bitch. I saw right through it. I signed up for the tour, so me and Martha have to hang out together for 15 minutes to see if anybody else signs up for like the 3 o'clock tour or whatever. Of course they don't. I gotta make small talk with a woman that won't stop pretending to be from the 1700s. It's fucking insane. What do you say? I was just out there with her like, where's George Washington? She's like, oh, the general? He won't be joining us today. He's in his chambers. It's just you and I. I was like, wait. You trying to fuck with you? Never broke. No one broke it. Enough times gone by, I've had enough to think about why nobody would break character while I was there. And for real, I'm fairly certain they thought that I was a special needs man. Like they all got together and they were like, look, this is obviously a big day for this guy. Nobody break character. Let's make it magic for him. Like they watched me park my car when I got there. And when I got out, they're like, oh. So the driving ones. Look at them. It was also during COVID, and the mask did not do me any favors. You can only see my eyes. I got the eyes for it. It was sunny out. It also didn't help I walked up to my tour guide, like, where's George Washington? He's like, oh, you're a big guy. I was like, yeah. So me and Martha go in for the tour. Due to COVID restrictions at the time, we were not allowed to speak indoors. All right, so for $36, me and a woman dressed like Martha Washington fucking dead silently walked through for a full hour. You need to be able to talk for this tour to have any value at all. There's nothing to read in there. It's just old chairs and shit. Me and this lady went room to room for an hour, and this was the tour. I was in the corner of every room, just not getting it. We get outside when we were done. She's like, "Do you have any questions?" I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck was that? What was that? What'd you and me just do?" So that was the end of me and Martha. I go off by myself. I started looking around. Like I said, it was the first summer during COVID. All right. So we're in the middle, we're in the middle of tearing down statue season. And I was at the Founding Fathers Plantation during all of that. So I wanted to check out the slave quarters. I want to see what all the fuss was. No, whatever. Fuck you guys. What'd you guys do? What'd you guys do that summer? Fucking post black squares on your Instagram? Is that what you did? How dare you judge me? How dare I was there. Boots on the ground at a Founding Fathers Plantation. Growing, learning as a white. Coming down. For real though, I was in there. I was in George Washington slave quarters. By the way, the first thing you do when you walk into George Washington slave quarters is you go, ooh. Somehow worse than I thought they were going to be. It's rough, dude. That guy had a fucking dungeon. For real, he didn't know. I'm in there, by myself, and I'm like, you remember that time? It was a tense fucking time in this country, and I'm in there by myself, like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then I hear some footsteps coming down the path behind me, and now blocking the only exit of the room was a slave reenactor. They have those there. And he did not break character. I turned around and he was like, "Oh, well, hello there, sir." Like, Jesus Christ, dude, please, you don't have to do the character. I'd give anything for you to not do that character. He didn't break. He was like, "Look at those clothes. You must be from the future. Hello, time traveler." I was like, "No, I'm from right now. What are you doing out? Come here." No, I did not say that. Obviously, I didn't fucking say that. I didn't say a word. I was frozen. I was paralyzed with white guilt. I didn't say a word. And he knew what he was doing. He for real. He knew what he was doing, dude. He wasn't giving me the George Washington tour. He was just drilling me with shit I didn't want to hear. He was hitting me with the what? You remember that time? Tense time. That guy walks in there and sees me. I know what I look like. I know exactly. I've got the body type of a guy who says, "Let's see the rest of the body cam footage before we jump to any conclusions." I know what I look like. He wasn't even giving me the George Washington tour. He was just telling me fucked up shit. He was talking about other people. He's like, Thomas Jefferson had about 6 slave children of his own. He only freed 2 of his own children during his lifetime. Jesus Christ. Isn't that a bummer? Thomas Jefferson literally enslaved some of his own children. Yeah. Now you know how I felt, dude. I was getting fucking drilled with this information. That's when I started playing possum a little bit. It was like, maybe I am a special needs guy. So he was hitting me with the fucking white guilt facts. I was. And it was a battle, dude. It was like 2 wizards fighting. Finally, I won by just lowering my mask. He was mid-rant. Oh, shit. My bad, brother. He let me go. Freed me. And so I went to the George Washington Museum. There's a museum there. And as soon as you walk into that museum, they start pumping up George. You walk in, they're like, "George Washington was a great man." I just came from his dungeon. But I'm American. I'll forget about that part of his history. What else did he do? We're not going to let human trafficking define these guys, are we? Huh? I don't know. Anyway, I was in there. I was going through the museum. I'll admit, I had girl brain towards George. from what I'd seen. I was still mad at him. I was going through the museum, like, George Washington, fucking asshole. But George Washington had red hair, like, ugly bitch. I was trying to be cool and liberal and hate him. I couldn't do it, dude. They started pumping up George. Got me going, dude. Let's go to the museum. They're like, George Washington was 6'2". I was like, nice. Like, he could never tell a lie. I was like, this guy's unbelievable. Like, he single-handedly defeated the British. At this point, I'm back. No, dude, I'm worse. Nobody better touch my statues. I love statues. I'm ready to get on Facebook, defend Rittenhouse, whatever I need to do to help this country get better. I'm back, 100%. Love America, love George Washington. And then you get to the end of the tour, and the last thing you see on the George Washington tour is George Washington's teeth in a case. And if you know, the myth is George Washington had wooden teeth. Turns out George Washington it was ivory and lead dentures with horse and cow teeth on the top row and human slave teeth on the bottom row. Yeah, what the fuck? That's it. That's how the tour ends. You're gonna walk outside to a hot, sunny parking lot. Like, what the fuck was that? Also, lead with the teeth. Show me the teeth right away, dude. Don't make me love George Washington for 2 hours. And at the very end, be like, you want to see some wild shit? And once you see his teeth, every story about him makes perfect sense. Like, he was a man of few words. It's like, yeah, dude, he had fucking donkey teeth and fucking lead in his mouth for a decade. You can't keep lead in your mouth for a decade. That would give you, for real, like rabies-like symptoms. You got, like, I can't believe we defeated the British. So I know how we did it. We had a fucking 6'2", redheaded, retarded guy out in the woods just waiting for those motherfuckers, dude. 6'2" in 1770, that's like 6'10" today. Red hair, horse teeth, a sword, just. You want to tax me, my lord? You know how terrifying that guy was coming out of the woods. And he's a 5-foot British guy. Oh! Robert George! You ever see that painting of George crossing the Delaware? Standing. He's the only one standing on the rowboat. Everyone else is like, George, you got to get down. Get over there, get him! You know what happened that day when George crossed the Delaware? It was Christmas Day, and it was a bit of a massacre because George caught the British off guard because the British absolutely correctly assumed they were like, only a retarded guy's going to try to cross this icy river today in a rowboat. Fortunately for them, our first president was on the other side of that river. I get in the boat, we got to kill these motherfuckers for fun.
All right, here's the story. I started doing stand-up comedy when I was 14. I'll never forget the first time I was on stage. The guy that introduced me was a guy named J.T. Newton. I'm 47. I can close my eyes and remember the introduction like it was yesterday. It went like this. Ladies and gentlemen, this next young man coming to the stage is starting his comedy career tonight. Who knows? We may be witnessing the birth of a star. Please welcome David Chappell. From the first time that I ever held a microphone, I was sure this was it. I knew I was home. I knew I had found my thing. And my God, man, I was a child. I got good. Matter of fact, I was good from the moment I started. And I'm not saying this to be a brag, I'm telling you the truth. These old niggas was in awe of me. How is this little boy so poised? They used to say. I was. I mean, you know, I got better, but it started out good. About a year into it, when I was 15 years old,
I had written a joke during the AIDS epidemic about having a Goodyear condom. Something, I don't even remember the joke. Something about an industrial strength condom by Goodyear. I just remember all the comedians really liked that joke. And there was an older comedian. And he came to me one night after the show, after he saw the joke, and he said, listen, I got an audition at another comedy club, and I was wondering, do you mind if I do that joke? I just want to borrow it. Now, I'm a kid, I don't know any better. I'm like, borrow it? Well, I guess, sure, if it'll help your career. I let him do the joke. And then weeks later, I was waiting to go on at the comedy club, and he went on before me, and he did the joke. And after the show, I pulled him aside and I said, hey, man, I don't mind you borrowing my jokes, but you got to give them back. He said, oh, I forgot to ask you. He goes, let me buy that joke from you for $50. And I said, man, I'd do it, but I'm just starting out. I need all the material I can get. The idea being, the more material I can accumulate, the faster I'll be able to make money for my work. I said, I can't do it. I want my joke back. I'll never forget this. Remember, I was a 15-year-old child.
He said, I was just.
See,
Hey folks, today is Friday, July 10th, 2026. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this weekend. There's a lot. It's a stacked week. The big question on everyone's mind, what the hell's going on with Elder Scrolls? Well, this question comes after Xbox finally announcing the first of a lot of layoffs. Over 1,600 people laid off now, with more coming later this year, as well as studio cuts all around. With that, we have the news that both Double Fine and Compulsion are going independent again, and then Senua developer Ninja Theory and State of Decay 3 developer Undead Labs are essentially going with a potential buyer. We don't know what the deal is with Arcane yet and the Blade game, because that's still undergoing some like French litigation stuff. But that's where it's at now. It seems like State of Decay 3 and Senua are still coming. They said there's still a commitment to ship those games, but that's where we have that. But still, widespread Xbox layoffs throughout, and what has been coming out later in the week now is the state of id Software and Bethesda. IGN did a report. This is not 100% confirmed, but they are saying that sources are telling them that Bethesda Game Studios, quote, have removed more than 50 employees, including, quote, key high-performing people in the trenches, building the company's long-awaited Skyrim successor, aka the next Elder Scrolls game. This is a wild thing because, of course, Elder Scrolls, the next one, is one of the most anticipated games and presumably one of Xbox's big properties, but it just shows that nobody is safe. Quote, their loss will have a substantial and cascading effect on the game and the morale of the studio, and it's been a mix of every discipline: programmers, artists, and designers. One person who's been at the company since Morrowind was cut. With Mr. Addy Plays, fellow YouTuber, going in depth on that. It's actually an artist who was responsible for coming up with some of the most iconic designs from the franchise, including the main Dragonborn armor you see in all the Skyrim key art. So it just goes to show the dire state of where things are right now, because you think of it, it's not just like low-level employees getting laid off, which, they shouldn't be either, but you have the brain drain. You have people with institutional knowledge, legacy game developers that could pass on those skills and ideas to the next generation now being kicked to the curb. Which also goes to my other thing that I found even more concerning, is that it seems like id Software has been gutted. The reports out there are suggesting like roughly 50% of the studio. And that's nuts, because again, another studio that has a pedigree, but also you can argue that like the Doom games are awesome. People like them. It seems like people buy them, but id Software is not safe as well. And those are some legendary people that make some kick-ass games. Like, I find this whole thing kind of wild and misguided. It's Xbox definitely going back and like divesting essentially from all the things they purchased. It's almost them, to me, admitting that the last 10 years, from the Game Pass thing to all the acquisitions to essentially bolster the Game Pass portfolio, was not working. So they are very quickly backing away from all that. The question that remains to be seen, are they backing away from it so hard that they can't even make any good games at all? That's the most important thing to me. Like, are you actually going to be able to commit to making good games? Are you going to give people a reason to show up when you're reducing the workforce so much to even make good things? That remains to be seen. The one thing, silver lining for some people, I guess, is that a new report from Bloomberg suggests that Obsidian is working on a new Fallout game. They have been put on a new Fallout game, Xbox, Asha Sharma, all that they've been talking about, leaning into their franchises, being a franchise-first business. Obviously, they've had some exclusives now, so it makes sense that they're finally fast-tracking another Fallout, because Fallout is still pretty hot, and Obsidian is the people to make it. There's been talks, I've heard murmurs about this for years, right? But it seems like now that's officially going to be a thing, with this report stating that Avowed 2 was in the pitch process, but that has been canceled to make room for them jumping on this game with Josh Sawyer at the helm. Of course, legendary Obsidian game designer, game project leader. So that is technically good news. It's just amidst all the other shit. And my big concern with this, I said it on a video on my other channel a couple of days ago, but it's like, you can cut all this stuff back and try and save money, and you can also jingle keys in front of us and just fast track, a new Fallout, a new this, a new that, a new Halo, blah, 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 blah. But they actually have to be good. They can't be crunched. They can't be half-assed. They can't be farted out in a year. They have to be up to the quality that players expect. And good luck now. We'll see where that goes. But for now, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm sure you have some strong opinions. But anyway, back to more gloom and doom news. There is some positive stuff, but stick with me here. The other bit I just think is worth mentioning this week is that PlayStation and Sony still have not acknowledged the fact that they put out that announcement last week that they are cutting physical games. 2028, they're ending production of physical games. We've talked about this a ton on this channel last week on the Friday show, on my channel. Obviously, everybody knows the problems with it. Obviously, everybody knows the math, that a lot of people buy digital games. It is essentially the way things are trending, but still, I think there's just so much up in the air in terms of consumer rights and consumer protections and consumer freedoms that this really causes an issue with. So we're going to continue to talk about it. I think it is important to still raise awareness. I think Sony, at the very least, I don't think they're going to go back on this, but I think there needs to be some concessions. I think they need to really prove to the consumer why this could be a good thing. Like, they need to put in the work to convince players. Obviously, plenty of people are already convinced because they're buying digital games, but there just has to be something, because it kills so many things. Letting your friend borrow a game, trading in games, price stuff, going into the store and buying a game on sale. It's a shit show. So I'm just really hoping something else comes from this, but just know we're going to continue to mention it when it is relevant. And I'm going to be talking about it on my channel as well, youtube.com/Jake Baldino, because I think it is important. Again, if you're a digital only gamer, that's fine. I'm not judging you, but I think this has bigger ramifications for all players in the consumer rights type of thing. And that's the most important thing. And I think we've talked about for years here on GameRanks. But it's just funny that Sony, on social media, they're like, hey, here's a post about something else. Don't worry about it. And all the comments are people just like, ah. And good, There is a petition going around. You can sign up and be like, sorry. Petitions don't really do a lot. I find corporations tend to just thumb their nose at them. But I do think vocal pushback consistently across platforms and stuff, like that's something you see and you can't really hide. I'm not necessarily saying harass people who work at Sony, but voicing your opinions at their social media platforms, I think, is totally justified here. And a lot of people are quick to point out the contradiction, of course, that the new Call of Duty Black Ops re-releases on PlayStation are out digitally, and it seems like a lot of people are buying them. So there's that. Look, I don't think we need to get here pointing out contradictions and stuff like that. I play on PC. I have a lot of digital games, but I also have a cabinet full of physical games. I think it's fine to have both. And I think our concern right now shouldn't be on like shitting on consumers who consume a certain way, but shitting on the companies for not giving people options, doing the right thing, essentially doing predatory anti-consumer practices. Screw that. Anyway, really heavy show. So let's get to some positive stuff. In terms of new game releases this week, like I said, Call of Duty Black Ops, the campaigns are out again if you want to play them. They are really good campaigns, just saying. But along with that, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is out. If you have seen, a lot of the reviews are positive. I've been playing the game for the last 2 weeks, and I'm someone who was a diehard fan of 2013 AC Black Flag, and I think they did a good job with this remake. The stealth is still kind of the stealth. The combat kind of feels like a lateral move, less than an upgrade, but the visuals now, the added content, the feel, the faithfulness of it, like I really enjoyed replaying it. I got hooked on it immediately, and I like some of the little extra things here and there. The thing worth pointing out, though, is that the game is currently getting some backlash for some issues on PC. If you see Steam reviews, a lot of people are calling out, rightfully, DLC. So it does the Ubisoft thing, where there's a separate store page where you can go and buy cosmetic DLC. That pisses a lot of people off because you buy a $70, $80 game, and then the game immediately wants you to just spend more money on shit. It's incredibly annoying, and every Assassin's Creed game has done it for a while now, and I always call it out, and I think it's good that people are calling it out, but at the very least for me, that stuff aside, the actual core game itself, it has some flaws, which I talk about in the Before You Buy, but ultimately I think this is like a rare Ubisoft W in terms of at least them putting out a game that I enjoyed, and it seems like people are enjoying. I said it in the Before You Buy, and I'll say it here. I think it is the original Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but yeah, the remake too. But AC Black Flag is the best pirate game ever made. There's a few, I know, and there's some that I think are in the running, but for me, it was always this. And some issues aside, I'm excited that like a new generation of players are going to be able to check this out. Along with that, speaking of new generation of players, Backyard Baseball has now officially released for all the platforms. This was kind of a thing bubbling up for a while, but along with that, Pal World hit 1.0. This is huge. A lot of people are still playing the shit out of this game. So I'm excited to see what the hell's going on with it. It's been a while since we checked in, so I don't know. You guys think we should check in and do like an updated Before You Buy? I'm curious to see how different it truly is. The game got so much money and so much support at the front end that I'm curious to see how the developers really added to it. Anti-consumer practices is like the theme of this episode because also releasing this week is EA Sports College Football 27, and with that has come a whole controversy of players, influencers, reviewers getting access to the game and talking about it and making videos and stuff, only for the game to then, now at release, add microtransactions to the single-player offline mode, as well as apparently tweaking how XP goes in the game, essentially making the grind harder and incentivizing people to buy these microtransactions, consider buying these microtransactions when, again, they already bought a full-ass priced game. These sports games, they really push it. You know, you see it in FIFA, you've seen it in NBA 2K, really, really bad with the whole nightmare tab of transactions. But the college sports football thing could have been so simple, and it's a shame that EA seems to be shitting on the bed here. The response that they put out doesn't really seem like it does a lot, and from what I've seen, the reaction's just coming out, but it seems like players are still none too pleased by how EA is treating this. At the very least, I will say it is very cool to see a lot of content creators and streamers and YouTubers who just kind of do sponsored sports game content. Like, I'm not the audience, I don't know what that is, right? But like, they work with EA with these games and they put out videos. They're calling EA out as well. I think that's good. And it's nice to see the sports bros doing what we were doing years ago with Battlefront 2 and the microtransaction loot box shit, right? Like, I think these are battles worth fighting, worth pushing back on these companies. And it's nice to see that people still do it. And to end on a positive note, Pokemon Go is celebrating its 10th anniversary. Yes, I know, that's insane. I remember us just doing Pokemon Go videos back when it came out. But yes, it was apparently 10 years ago. So to celebrate, they did a whole big event. There's some free stuff coming, some updates to the game. But I just wanted to share this because I thought this was cool. I wasn't able to go. I was so pissed that I wasn't able to make this fit in my schedule. But last night, they had a big Pokemon Go 10th anniversary event in Manhattan, in New York, in Times Square, where they essentially did a big community battle against Mewtwo, like the original Pokemon Go trailer suggested back in the day. You remember that? So here, there's so much footage of over 1,000 people apparently in Times Square. Times Square, all the billboards are taken over with this big Mewtwo battle. That just gives me chills. I don't even play Pokemon Go hardcore anymore, but I just like video games and I like stuff like that. It brings people together, you know, it's just cool. And especially with all the gloom and doom lately, it's nice to see that players can all just get together and just have some fun in a really crazy, over the top way. Sorry, did I get too sentimental there for you at the end? I can't help it. I still just love video games as much as we have to talk so many bad things about them. So for now, I think that's it for this Friday because we got to get back to making videos. I just got my hands on a Steam machine. Don't make fun of me. I paid out the ass for it, but we are going to be making a video on this early next week. See how it goes. But for now, let me know what you think in the comments of everything we talked about this week, from the fate of Elder Scrolls to a new Obsidian Fallout game to id Software potentially being completely gutted. What's going on? Let's talk about any of that. Let's talk about what you're currently playing. And also, there's going to be a pinned comment down below. Reply to that comment thread and let us know what you're currently playing. It's just for GameRanks research. We appreciate it. But yeah, for now, I got to get back to the video mines and make some videos. But hopefully you're enjoying yourself. All I ask is that you have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me. See ya.
Write the words. What if you could hear them as a song? Go to Suno.com, switch to custom mode, and paste in your lyrics. Then describe the sound. I'll go with soulful R&B ballad, emotional vocals, piano driven. Hit create. Suno turns your writing into 2 fully produced songs. Your words sung back to you with real production behind them. Now shape it. Remix to hear your lyrics in a completely different genre. Rewrite sections to tighten the phrasing. Extend to build the full track. You can also use Suno to face writer's block head on. Create new lyrical ideas and flourishes that you can then reinsert to complete your composition. Your lyrics fully produced from a paste and drum. See what your words can become. Subscribe at Suno.com.
It only took us 3 hours.
Watch ads to double my army.
Got it, bro.
Kingshot has no ads. It's all about
Everything is looking nice and crisp now. Nice and crispy. All right. Took me less time than I thought it would. Which is good. Now, we can. Now we get started on the oil paints in our next session. So we did pretty good this morning, guys. All right. I'm gonna throw this on the easel. Oh shit, bro, my back. Hunching over for so long. Oh shit. Oh boy. All right. I need to sit up or stand up straight for a minute. Watch out, Cruz. I'm good. All right, buddy. We about to leave out anyway. All right, so I think I'm done with these stools in here. You got to stretch too, huh? I feel you. All right, I think we're done with these. Let's get these out of here. All right, what else I need to bring with me? Oh, let me grab the phone, grab my coffee. All right, I'm hungry. I gotta go find something to eat. Doesn't look too bad. You know what I'm saying? Don't look too bad at all. Try it again next time. I'm sure happy y'all chill with me this morning in the studio while we worked on the background for this next Whisper series. I hope you have a great Saturday. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. We're out of here.